Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, everybody. Today, I'd like to present my research proposal by name Analysis of Financial Statement Fraud with the Fraud Hexagon Theory Approach. In this research proposal, I'll divide it into three sections: Introduction, Library Review, and Research Methods. Bab 1, Introduction. My research background is financial statements are a means of communication of company with users of financial statements that contain financial condition, performance, and result of the company's operation. The information contained in the financial statements encourage the management to do everything possible to make financial statements look good, including by committing acts of financial statement fraud. Report to the nation shows data that cases of financial statement fraud are rare cases only by 10%, but financial statement fraud can cost companies a value of US around 954,000. Between 2018 and 2019, Indonesia had the highest number of fraud cases in the Asia Pacific region. The Association of Certified Fraud Examining in 2020 stated that banking sector is the sector that cheated the most financial statements, as many as 386 cases found with an average loss of 100,000 US dollar. The phenomenon of financial statement fraud in Indonesia is the case of PT Bank Bukopin in 2018, which cheated financial statements by modifying credit card data. The number of cases of fraud that occur make the perpetrators in the business world need to know the factor that can detect fraud reports of power. One of the theories used is to use fraud triangle theory in 1953, developed into fraud diamond in 2004, fraud pentagon in 2011, and fraud hexagon in 2019. This is all my research question is to does stimulus have influence on financial statements and capability and so on and so on. My research objective is knowing the influence between my variables such as stimulus, capability, collusion, opportunity, rationalization, and egos on financial statement fraud. This is my benefits of my research. The theoretical benefit is to add knowledge and information materials in the field of auditing regarding the detection, especially regarding the detection of financial statement fraud through the fraud hexagon theory approach. Benefit number two, benefit for the company can be used as a consideration for management about matters that affect financial statement fraud. 3. Benefit for investor can provide information for investor in detecting financial statement fraud. 4. Benefits for public accounting firm be a source of information in maximizing quality and prudence in checking financial statement. Section Bab 2, theoretical review. This is my theoretical background. I'm using agency theory, stakeholder, and so on and so on. First of all, agency theory. Theory agency was initiated by Jensen and Macklin, 1976. We explained that the agency relationship arises when there is a cooperation contract from shareholder or principal to exercise and delegate his authority in decision making with the management. Stakeholder theory. Stakeholder theory says that the company in carrying out its activities should provide benefit for its stakeholders and not for its own interest. Fraud. Fraud can be defined as a deliberate violation of the law by making false and erroneous reports of personal or collective gain and presenting them to others. And fraud triangle theory. Fraud triangle theory was found by Crazy Donald in 1953. Crazy Donald says that there are three main elements that cause a person to commit a fraud, such as pressure, opportunity, and rationalization. In 2004, David T. Wolfe developed the fraud triangle into fraud diamond, and with adding capability as an element. And in 2011, Crowley Howard developed again the fraud triangle theory into by adding arrogance as an element. fraud hexagon theory in 2019 by Faucinus, adding collusion as a new element. And then financial statement fraud. Under the audit standard, SA section 316, financial statement fraud is a deliberate modification or omission of amounts or disclosure in financial statements to deceive user of financial statements. This is my theoretical background about stimulus. Stimulus is the pressure will be stimulated if the company has performance that is at the point below the average of similar industry. And to measure the stimulus variable, I'm using ROA, net profit, divided by total asset, and capability. Number 2, according to Wolfe Hermanson, capability is the nature of individual in committing fraud that makes them look for opportunities and take advantages of the opportunity to commit fraud. I'm using change of director to measure capability element, and using dummy variable, code 1 if the company changes the director, and code 0 if the company doesn't. 3. Collusion. Collusion can be interpreted as a false agreement between two or more people, where there are parties who do bad actions such as deceiving others. Collusion element can be measured using proxy political connection. Political connection can be measured by using dummy variable, code 1 if there is ownership above 10% by the government or company leadership, and code 0 if there is no ownership above 10% by the government or a company. 4. Opportunity. Opportunity is used by the perpetrator freely in carrying out his action. This is due to weak internal control, lack of discipline, weakness in accessing information, and apathy. To measure variable opportunity, I'm using nature of industry. 5. Rationalization. Rationalization is the justification of what fraudsters do for their action. Fraudsters will carry out various tactics so that their cheating deeds are unknown. To measure the rationalization, I'm using proxy rational of total Akbar ratio company. And last but not least, ego. Ego is described that arrogance is the nature of character of superiority over the right own and feels that internal supervision and company policies do not apply to him. To measure ego variable, I'm using frequent number of CEO's picture. This is the stimulus on financial statements based on the theory stakeholder, where of the view that the business needs support from stakeholder and meet the expectation of stakeholders. Capability on financial statement fraud, the study will use change of director to measure capability level. The change of director has a relationship with the theory of agency, namely the board of the director, which is again has more information and higher competence than the principal. Collusion on financial statement fraud, the study will use political connection to measure collusion. Political connection have something to do with the theory of agency, namely the existence of convenience or privilege owned by company. This allows management to take advantage of this condition by committing act of financial statement fraud by means of manipulation. Opportunity on financial statement fraud. The study will use the nature of industry to measure opportunity levels. Nature of industry has a relationship with the theory of agency that the principal give authority to the management to manage and take decision on the company operational activities. Rationalization on financial statement fraud. Rationalization has a relationship with the theory of agency, namely the difference of interest between the principal and the agent. Rationalization by management is to modify financial statements. Modification of financial statements is triggered because the agent wants to present the best possible financial statements. Ego on financial statement fraud. The form of arrogance can be seen through the frequent number of CEO's picture contained by the company annual report. This is my hypothesis overall, and my variable has a positive effect on the Y variable. And bab 3, research methods. This is my unit of analysis. I'm using banking subsector financial companies listed on the Indonesia Stock Exchange from 2018 to 2020. This is my research sample. My total sample is 46, and my overall sample through 3 years is 138. This is my data collection techniques. I'm using secondary data source and using documentation technique. This is my independent variable, and this is how I calculate the formula. I'm using Jones modification model, and this is my dependent variable, x1 stimulus. I'm using ROA, x2 capability. I'm using dummy variable change of director, x3 collusion. I'm using dummy variable political connection, and x4 opportunity. I'm using nature of industry to calculate the opportunity level. X5 rationalization, I'm using total accrual to total asset. X6, X6 ego, I'm using CEO pick, number of CEO image in annual report. Data analysis techniques. I'm using 4, statistical analysis of description. This is a description data analysis is used to provide information regarding the characteristic of the variable study. 2, classic assumption test. The classical assumption test aims to test whether the research data conducted has a normal distribution or not. 3, multiple linear regression analysis. Multiple linear regression analysis to test the relationship of several independent variables with one dependent variable. And last, hypothesis test. The hypothesis test in this study intends to find out whether there is an influence of independent variables on dependent variables. That is all for me. Thank you for watching. Hope this research proposal helps a lot of people.